There were a lot of new Nintendo Switch 2 games announced, as well as Nintendo Switch 2 editions. So today I want to talk about how many games are coming out this year. The Switch 2's first year lineup is looking absolutely stacked, but there is still a lot we don't know. We don't have release dates for Kirby Air Riders or Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. We're still waiting on a release date for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, as well as Pokemon Legends EA. And to be honest, even though there is already so much announced for the year, I think we could actually end up seeing one or two more announcements that end up releasing before the ends of 2025. So that's what we're getting into today. Of course, if you are new here and you enjoy Nintendo Switch 2 coverage content, I would appreciate you subscribing. I will have hands-on impressions for quite a few Nintendo Switch 2 games very soon, so stay tuned for that, and let's get into it. Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the channel. What a day or two it has been, huh? We had that Nintendo Direct, and ever since, the non-stop flow of information, both from first parties as well as third-party games. I mean, it's just been non-stop. My brain can't take all the information in. Today, I really just wanted to hop on here and talk about all of the games in a broader sense, and also try to figure out where those games that don't have release dates will actually slot in. Because, like I said, I do think there might be a few more things, especially for Nintendo Switch 1, as we'll get into. So starting off, we know the console is releasing on June 5th, alongside 4 first-party releases. We have 4 releases from Nintendo on release day, most notably Mario Kart World. This game looks absolutely phenomenal. The more I see of it, the more excited I get. I should be playing it tomorrow, so very excited for that. But this is the launch title. This is the big launch title. There was so much back and forth of, oh, Prime 4, oh, 3D Mario, oh, Mario Kart, and it ended up being Mario Kart, as we know now. And, I mean, they made the right choice. This game's gonna do so well. It's gonna sell so many copies, even at that $80 price tag. It looks really good, and it's more than I ever expected from a new Mario Kart. Like, 8 Deluxe is incredible, already the best Mario Kart, but they have completely reinvented this franchise in a way I just wasn't expecting them to do. I mean, they really made something special here, based on the footage. I mean, I haven't played it yet, but I really have no doubts in my mind that this is going to be an incredible game, and maybe one of Nintendo's best launch titles of all time, except for maybe Breath of the Wild, which funnily enough is also a launch title on June 5th. We have Breath of the Wild, as well as Tears of the Kingdom. The pricing is still a little unclear, but if you are a Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack member, the upgrades for these games, which make them 4K 60 FPS, those will be included with your membership. They will also be available at retail for $70 and $80 respectively, or if you already own them and you want to buy them without having NSO, it sounds like they'll be $10 or $20 to upgrade. I'm actually excited to replay these. I watched the Treehouse stream this morning, and what they showed off, I mean, it's really impressive. The frame rates, the load times. These are Switch 1 games. You can tell that in a lot of areas for sure, but they still look absolutely breathtaking. That art direction, man, it's all about that art direction. There's also this new Zelda Notes app thing. I don't know if I'll use it. There's some cool lore where if you go to a certain area, Zelda will give you a new voice acted little bit of lore, but yeah, I don't know. I do want to replay these. I just don't know if I'll be using that that app. And nice to have these out early. These are our first 2 Switch 2 editions. I kind of thought they would drip feed the Zelda stuff over the course of the generation, but no, we're getting them both out the gate. Very nice. Disappointed there's no Master Mode in Tears of the Kingdom, but what can you do? And then our final launch title from Nintendo itself, not talking third parties, is Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. So this is seemingly an EPD4 developed game, akin to a 1-2 Switch or a Nintendo Land, except it is way lower budget. They showed this on the Treehouse as well, and I mean, this should be free. Let's be real. We don't know the price yet. It sounds like it will be maybe $10. Very low stakes game. I'm not sure how many people watching this video will buy this. I'll pick it up. I'll check it out. I'm sure there's some cool ideas in here, some fun things they can do. I think this is a great game for kids, but that makes me all the more confused as to why it isn't free, because it tells you about the hardware, it teaches you how the rumble works and how the motion sensors and all that works. I think it'd be a great game to give to a kid so they can like really learn about the hardware. And hey, I'm sure I'll have some fun with it too, but definitely a weird title and almost doesn't even feel like it's worth including on this list. But still, for the sake of being thorough, we got to cover every first-party game. So that is our first-party launch lineup, and I know some people are disappointed. Man, Mario Kart's gonna carry. I don't even need anything else. Breath of the Wild and Tears will be cool to check out again, and then the Welcome Tours, whatever. But Mario Kart World, that is gonna carry that launch, and there's also some third-party stuff I'm excited to check out as well. We'll do a whole separate third-party launch lineup video in the coming weeks, but launch, I think, is pretty good, if not really great, when you look at how just good Mario Kart World looks. But then a few weeks later, we don't have to wait very long for our next major game, arguably the second biggest game coming out this year, next to Mario Kart, I would say. On July 17th, we have Donkey Kong Bonanza. This looks incredible. I was a little hesitant at first. I was excited for Donkey Kong fans, and I was excited to see a new 3D Donkey Kong, but I was like, oh, this means 3D Mario isn't going to happen this year, which I really don't think it will. Some people are still holding on to hope. But watching the Treehouse stream, watching all the hands-on stuff, I think this game looks incredible. Donkey Kong's facial animations are wonderful, and the way you can destroy the entire environment. This man can destroy a mountain. Really cool stuff, really unique type of gameplay in that you are destroying everything. So July 17th, only 6 or 7 weeks after release. We really don't have to wait that long after Mario Kart's, and I'm sure Mario Kart will carry us pretty nicely into that range. Just a week later, we get another Nintendo Switch 2 edition, and that is Super Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV. This is one that I'm, kind of interested in. I didn't play that much Jamboree to begin with. Mario Party is a game I kind of play off and on throughout the holidays, that kind of thing with family and friends. But this new Jamboree TV edition adds camera support with the Switch 2 camera, as well as MouseCon mini-games. Looks pretty neat. I'm not sure if I'll pick it up on release. Maybe I'll do a video, but yeah, that's July 24th, so not too long after DK Bonanza. Lower stakes thing, right? That is just a Mario Party update, essentially. And once again, that is available at retail by itself for $80, or if you already have a Switch 1 copy, the upgrade, I think, is going to be about $20. So $20 for the DLC, plus you'll need the camera to play most of this stuff, so that's $50. You're going to be spending a lot of money if you want to get this Jamboree TV update going. And then our final dated game for 2025 is another Switch 2 edition, and that is Kirby and the Forgotten Land plus the Star-Crossed World. Very excited for this. I was always so sad that Forgotten Land didn't get a DLC or any kind of update or patch. Well, now we know why. They cooked up this Star-Crossed World expansion. I haven't had a chance to go back and really analyze what's new in the expansion or how long it will be, that kind of thing, but any more new Kirby and the Forgotten Land content is going to be really great. And I did a comparison. I was looking at the Switch 1 version versus this new trailer for the Switch 2 edition. I implore you to go look up the new trailer versus the old one, because it is insane how much better this looks. The frame rate running at that consistent 60. Switch 2 games looking very clean, and Kirby, my boy Kirby, looking beautiful as ever. So that's at the end of August, and that is our last dated Nintendo Switch first-party game. We have a lot announced for this year, but not many dates. So right now, a game that was announced for summer 2025 is this Drag and Drive, new IP from Nintendo that really uses the mouse controls of the Switch 2 Joy-Con. Not sure how I feel about this. Or really, I shouldn't say that. I think this looks bad. Watching the Treehouse demo, I was really like, oh, there's not much depth here. I don't think the art direction is very good, but it is a first-party game. It is listed on their website as part of their upcoming slates. All we have is that summer window. I am actually going to predict that this will release before Kirby. I think this is going to be an August release, in early August. So a few weeks before Kirby, a few weeks after Mario Party Jamboree. I suppose it could be maybe early September. We don't have anything dated for then, but sometime in that range. August, September, they said summer. We'll see how much this retails for, if there even is a retail version. Is it eShop only? They clarified in the Direct that the Welcome Tour application is digital only, but they didn't say that for Drag and Drive, so I think this is a full retail game. Maybe it'll be a budget release. It better be a budget release. If this is 70, it's dead on arrival. There's some cool ideas here. I mean, I don't want to be too negative, but yeah, this is a full $70 game. It looks like there's no content, so maybe they'll surprise us when they show it again, but I'm not too optimistic about this one. And then from there, we have just a ton of 2025, vague 2025 dates. So Kirby Air Riders from Masahiro Sakurai. We just learned this morning that Bandai Namco is developing the game with him directing it, so very exciting there. That is slated for 2025, alongside Metroid Prime 4, which is getting both a Switch 1 and Switch 2 edition. Pokemon Legends EA also getting a Switch 1 and Switch 2 edition. And then one final game that was announced in the Switch 2 Direct, but wasn't actually slated for 2025, is Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I think there is a chance that this means this is a January or February game next year. However, if I recall, they did a very similar thing with Fire Emblem Warriors back in 2017, where they kind of were being really weird about the release date. So even though they said winter for this game, I actually think we will still see it this holiday, maybe even before winter technically starts. So maybe we see this in November or something like that. And then there is also this Woolly World thing going around. It's unclear if this was an error or if it was intentional or what. But in the Switch 2 Direct, there's an icon for Yoshi's Woolly World, specifically Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World, because you can see Poochie in the art here We will see if this was just a mistake, but Woolly World is one I've been predicting for a while. I think Woolly World would make a great fit as a late Switch 1 game. We'll just have to see where this slots in or where they announce it. Also worth noting, I didn't talk about it, but for launch day on June 5th, we also have GameCube NSO. So not technically a new thing, but still very exciting. So to me, right there, that is a stacked lineup. There is so much there. I am excited to chew on and play. There's also some third-party stuff I'm excited to play on Switch 2. Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion being a big one. I cannot wait for that game. That's coming out September 5th. But let's try to actually figure out where these games come out, and also what else could there be in the lineup that we don't know about. We're all focused on Switch 2, and I think that's fair. I think it has become abundantly clear that Nintendo is also all in on Switch 2, given that both Metroid Prime and Pokemon have Switch 2 editions. I didn't expect Pokemon to have anything, really, in terms of a Switch 2 upgrade, but it does, which is absolutely fantastic. However, if you notice something, unless Prime 4 somehow comes out in, like, July, we are looking at an insane gap of time between Switch 1 releases. The last game we had was Xenoblade Chronicles X. So honestly, I'm not sure where it would slot in. Maybe it's Woolly World, maybe it's something else entirely, but I feel like there must be a Switch 1 game, maybe even in May, before the Switch 2 comes out and they surprise announce it, or maybe like early August, but even still, March to August is an insane gap of time with no Switch 1 releases. There's 150 million Switches out there. It's very strange that there's nothing, especially when they confirm Rhythm Heaven and Tomodachi Life for 2026 coming to Switch 1. Very weird. So maybe Woolly World is that. Maybe Woolly World is early August or something. I do think we'll get a June Direct that announces some first-party Switch games, as well as a couple of things for Switch 2. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's try to date these other things. So Kirby Air Riders, I think this is the easiest one to slot in. This is, in my opinion, like definitely a December game, because Kirby and the Forgotten Land is getting a massive update and a Switch 2 edition on August 28th. It'd be a little weird if Kirby Air Riders came out in like September or October, because we just got a Kirby thing the month before, 2 months before. Maybe November, but I don't know. I'm feeling pretty confident in this one being a December release. Sakurai also had Smash Ultimate in December, so it's becoming a pattern for him in his games. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is really tricky. I want to say this would be an October game just because Dread came out in October, but because I'm going to predict something else, I think Metroid Prime 4 Beyond will actually release in September, like a mid-September release. Not quite holiday, but, you know, it's leading into that period. I think that'll be our big September game. Once again, maybe alongside a Switch 1 port of something. Still kind of holding out hope for Prime 2 and 3 on Switch 1. Maybe that'd be over the summer and a June Direct or something. But Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, September or October, leaning towards September on that one. And then for Pokemon Legends EA, I think this is very easy to lock in as a November game. I guess October's possible, but the last time we had an October release for Pokemon was over a decade ago now with Pokemon X and Y. So I think that week before Black Friday slot, you're looking at Pokemon Legends EA with that very beautiful 60 FPS Switch 2 patch. And then if we are getting Age of Imprisonment this year, I think you would just slot that in the same month as Pokemon Legends EA. So early November, Hyrule Warriors, late November, Pokemon Legends EA. With all that said, I mean, that already is a very good lineup, maybe barring for Switch 1 owners. There needs to be some more for Switch 1 in my opinion. But I do think there will be at least one more major thing, depending on how you look at it. I think we will get another Switch 2 edition over the holiday period, and I am torn between two games. If you notice the Switch 2 editions they're doing so far, it's a lot of stuff that came out in that 2022-2023 area where a lot of games weren't getting DLC, and I made videos back then talking about how they weren't getting DLC and how it seemed like these developers were moving on to Switch 2, but now we're seeing with Kirby and the Forgotten Land and its Switch 2 edition, as well as Tears of the Kingdom, I think a lot of those games are actually going to return with Switch 2 editions and with expansions. So I think there are two major possibilities for an October Switch 2 edition release, starting with Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 got no updates. I don't think it ever got a single patch, maybe, but it certainly didn't get any new content. I think a Pikmin 4 Switch 2 edition plus an expansion pack would be a great holiday title, but barring that, I do think a great fit for this holiday, since we're getting Donkey Kong Bonanza in July, kind of has me, scratching my head like, well, if Donkey Kong is July, what are they going to market as one of their bigger holiday games? We have Pokemon, we have Metroid, and maybe Kirby and Hyrule Warriors, but you want to have a big Mario thing, right? You could have put Donkey Kong in holiday and then put, I don't know, Prime 4 is probably done. You could have made that a July game. I think there is a Mario thing releasing this holiday, and what I am going to predict right now is a Super Mario Bros. Wonder Switch 2 edition that has a massive expansion. I'm locking it in. This game didn't get any DLC. It is a great one to kind of refresh with Switch 2 packaging, put it on store shelves, add new content to it, breathe new life into it. Because there is no Mario game announced for the holiday, I just find that extremely, extremely suspicious. So unless they surprise us with a new Mario thing, maybe a Mario sports game, 3D Mario, it's too early now with DK Bonanza. I think a Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition with a big DLC is extremely likely, especially with the 40th anniversary starting in September. Maybe we see Galaxy 2 or 3D Land on Switch 1 around the same time, but as a Switch 2 thing, I think Mario Wonder would, it's a DLC, it's an update. A lot of people might not care, but it is something that I think would really prop up this holiday and make it just really incredible for Switch 2 owners that maybe love those games and want more content. I mean, I'm so excited for Forgotten Lands. I'm so excited for Prime 4 and Legends EA having those performance patches. You add Hyrule Warriors, Kirby Air Riders, maybe a Woolly World port, and then one or two more things. I mean, this is going to be like one of their best holiday lineups, honestly. Ideally, what we get is maybe another Switch 2 edition and then also something entirely new. But honestly, it's already good enough. Like, I think just focusing more on some ports and DLC for older stuff maybe makes a little bit more sense. Save those heavy hitters for early 2026 and beyond so that there is no droughts. One of the biggest issues with Switch early on was that 2018 kind of sucked for a lot of it, right? It was a lot of Wii U ports. So it's kind of different here where maybe we're front loading it with a bit more of these Switch 2 editions, but then 2026 we see maybe 3D Mario on the holidays, Splatoon 4, Animal Crossing, whatever the case is. I think this is a fantastic lineup. I'm curious what you all think in the comments down below. Prices aside, let's leave the price discussion out of it for a little bit. How do you feel about this lineup? Because on top of all this first-party stuff, there is a lot of very exciting third parties coming to the platform as well. I'm stoked to try out Elden Ring on the Nintendo Switch. Cyberpunk is a launch title. I've never played Cyberpunk, so there's a lot coming for the Switch 2 this year. Wanted to make a video kind of highlighting it and also speculating if there could be any more. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, subscribe here for more Switch 2 content, theories, discussion. Follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames. And as always, you can click on one of these two videos to listen to me ramble even more about Nintendo. Until next time, folks. Peace.